bring Gavin Newsom to the front of the congregation. So Gavin Newsom, in light of being defeated with Prop 36 meaning that we can start holding people more accountable. We seen that last week with the young women that were shoplifting and now they catching felonies. All right, with the evolution of Prop 36 and the suffering of the people in California under Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom held a press conference trying to clean up his image and start a narrative behind the idea that he's going to start cracking down on crime, homelessness, and the things that are happening the worst in California. I wonder why they're waiting all the way until the end of his term to do so. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
The CHP will be sticking around to help fight crime in the town for at least a little bit longer. The governor announced the extension today, but also tacked on a warning to the Oakland Police Commission.
NBC Bay Area's Valina Jones was there for the announcement.
And conversely, over in California, it seems like they always go with older Asian women as their news crew. In New York, they may not have a good police department. They may have some problems over there on the subways. But New York keep them some bad news correspondents. They will stick around with them news correspondents. Over in California, they love them some older Asians. I don't know what that is. It's like a theme. Over in Miami, they keep that, all of the ones that speak Spanish, they keep them in there. They keep them over there in New Orleans. Over in California, they keep them some older Asians. Let's continue.
Explains why Governor Gavin Newsom says he's done helping Oakland if it doesn't take action soon.
A stern warning from Governor Newsom to Oakland.
We got to stop the bleeding.
The governor's message: immediately change your police pursuit policies or lose state support to combat public safety. The demand comes as Newsom announced he's adding a month to the program that's providing extra CHP officers to help in Oakland.
We need to see that policy changed. This commitment from the state can't continue unless we see commensurate changes.
Currently, OPD is only allowed to pursue someone if they're suspected of a violent crime or when a gun is present. Newsom made the announcement surrounded by Oakland community leaders, council members, and CHP officials. All agree public safety in the town is at a tipping point.
Oakland cannot afford to now continue to be an outlier. Criminals know they can act with little consequence, putting our residents, workers, and visitors at risk.
In February, the governor quadrupled CHP resources in Oakland to help tackle property crime, retail theft, and sideshows. The results: over 1,400 arrests and $13 million in stolen goods returned.
Why is this something that's just now starting to be implemented? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Gavin Newsom, as highlighted by Proposition 47, has always been on the side of the criminal. He's never been on the side of the city. He's never been on the side of the residents. He's never been on the side of the people. Why is he just now starting to say, hey, y'all need to change legislation? Listen, just a few weeks ago, just over a month ago, he was lamenting at the fact that they upended Proposition 47 with 36 to hold criminals accountable. And now he's saying, hey, they should be able to pursue the criminals? What? What is up with all of these politicians switching up in this about face? Why are politicians now getting a lot more, shall I say, tough on crime? Why do they want changes in legislation? Why are they just now, within the last couple of months since Shane Tao was under fire, started to put more police officers or California highway patrolmen or state police officers on the streets of Oakland when Oakland has been in shambles for years? Stop, bro, stop.
There is not urgency taken. What is your concern about the impacts that Oakland will see after we've had this huge reduction in crime?
What the voters did, I hope, gives everybody a little bit of backbone as well, to recognize the public's behind them. if they pursue change. And this is one of many things we can be doing.
Voters overwhelmingly recalled both Alameda County DA and Mayor Sheng Tao, largely over crime concerns.
It is my hope that in the new council that we can get this done in the next 30 days.
Supporters of the current policy argue police chases are dangerous.
I don't like young black councilmen. I don't like young black councilmen. I know that sounds crazy, don't it? But it's just the truth. I don't like young black councilmen. They're too eager to try to climb the ranks instead of actually having the best interest of the people. That's how you get a Trayon White over there in wherever he is in DC. That's how you get a Trayon White. It's too easily susceptible. Listen, young black men. It shouldn't be young black men. It should be middle age to older men that already are successful and have nothing to lose. And have already made their bones. I don't think that young people have, if you're under the age of 37, I don't think that you've lived enough life to be able to have these type of conversations, unless you're an anomaly. You can take an anomaly, but young black men, we too susceptible to the box and to the money. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I don't care how you feel, Josh. Young black men, we are too susceptible to box. You get you a bad one. And that's how the New York police chief is in this situation right now. Years ago, he was busting it down for a real one. He messed with an older chick. She probably has some crazy Gawk 3000, and that's how he got himself in this situation. Then when she got caught up in overtime, and she wasn't doing what she was supposed to do, he still got the electronic receipts, but it doesn't absolve him from what he was doing back in the day. He had too much power too early, and that's one of the reasons he was in that situation. It's just the facts. It's just the way that it is. We too we I don't know if this is by culture or by race, but man, oh man, box crazy. Box crazy, bro. When I see young black men, a lot of times, let them get a little bit older, let them get some bones up under themselves. When I see young black men, for that bag and for them chicks, they make some adjustments.
And disproportionately target.
Somebody says, so other men don't want the same thing too? Yeah, I think that they stupid too. I think a lot of times that they dumb too. Anybody under the age of 37, I'm not really sure that you should have that level of leadership. I don't know if you should be in the level or position to be mayor, governor, any of that stuff. You need to get up under a mentor more. And why y'all listen, if I'm holding you accountable, stop looking at other people so you can justify how dusty you are. If I say this demographic of people need to shut the hell up and go take a nap, don't always say y'all act like children sometimes. Well, what about the other demographic? What does that have to do with what I'm telling you to do? Y'all didn't say that when I was holding older Asians accountable for being on the news crew in Los Angeles and in California. Nobody said nothing. Yeah, them Asians, they do be older over there in California. Nobody said anything when we was talking about Telemundo down there in Miami. But then when we hold y'all accountable, it's like, what about the other groups of men? Stop being so sassy. I told y'all about that on the weekend. We're not going to keep having this conversation again. I told y'all about that on Friday and Saturday. Stop focusing. When it's your turn, it's your turn. We talk about everybody over here. I was over here having a conversation about people on the spectrum. And the mother of the kid that's on the spectrum said, you know what, Anton, they can get them jokes too. When I hold you accountable, take your L. Everybody get this work. Everybody. Nobody is absolved. But whenever it's your turn, you always talking about black men. Take your L like everybody else. Everybody got issues. Our issue just so happened to be box. Addicted to the box. That's our issue. Box addiction. Hi, I'm a young black man, and it's a strong possibility that I've been diagnosed with box addiction. You know how they say that it's hereditary? Sometimes it might be. It might be hereditary. You know what I'm saying? It might be passed down. You know how they say certain things is passed down? Oh, you got bad genes. We got box genes. We got box genes. And we got a level of accountability, adagin genes. Two big genes that we need to get through our bloodstream. Get de-disciplined and stop being so sassy when it comes to your turn to get this L. Box jeans, accountability jeans. That's what we got. Just the way that it is. Somehow, some way, we was just like, oh man, we want all of the box. It's the plight of the black man. Boxolitis. That's what we got. We got boxolitis. I didn't make it that way. Go ask God why you got boxolitis. Do you got boxolitis? Do you have boxolitis? Because if you got boxolitis, then that means you got to be a little bit more careful. You can't do the same things that everybody else do. You can't put yourself in the same position as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's just not your, it's not your turn. Some people can get away with some things more. Some people got a higher metabolism so they can eat a little bit more. Some people got a longer esophagus so they could, I don't know what the heck is going on, but it's a lot of people that got boxolitis. It just is what it is. That means you gonna have to not put yourself in the position to get it contracted because you're more susceptible to it. You have a weak immune system when it comes to box. Welcome to life.
People of color. But Councilmember Kevin Jenkins believes this added pressure could trigger a turning point.
The city administrator is going to help the OPD chief come up with a policy, and that will go to the police commission. As the governor said, we need this with urgency. We don't want our police chasing folks for jaywalking, but we do want a balanced approach.
The police commission responded to the governor's comments via statement, saying in part, we give our commitment to respond to the call for action and to do our part.
Look at this. Look at this. Do you have the same mindset for young people or for specifically black men? I ain't even gonna answer it.
To work with city leadership to make Oakland a safer place by implementing smart policy and best practices to deter reckless behavior. The commission currently plans to discuss potential changes at the end of January, but Newsom is urging them to call a special session.
They can do so with urgency, with focus, conviction to address the issue at hand, the crisis at hand. I would expect and demand that they.
I don't trust Gavin Newsom ever. I don't think that Gavin Newsom should ever have any position in legislation ever. But he was being taken to task. So in this same press conference, they asked him about Proposition 46, opposition and arrests starting to be made as a result of it. Check it out.
Hi, Governor. Monica Madden, ABC 7 News. Thanks for having us. Today, San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins just announced the first person charged with retail theft charges under Prop 36 because of the 2 prior convictions. Do you know if there have been any arrests within the last month by the task force that are now enabled under Prop 36? And do you still feel the same since you did not endorse that earlier this year?
Well, I don't know the details of a local
Facts, Randy. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Charging of a specific case. But I do know this, that the legislature advanced 12 specific bills. Prop 36 never included organized retail theft, never addressed that issue, never addressed the issue of vehicle crimes, never addressed the issue of multi-jurisdictional prosecutions. It primarily addressed the issue of nonviolent drug possession. As it relates to the 12 bills that were advanced in the legislature, as you know, they'll go in effect in January. As it relates to Prop 36 in this specific instance, I'll leave it to the district attorney to talk more about why she decided to charge him.
He don't want to answer the question because he was adamantly against tougher laws on criminals to prevent these organizations from being wiped out and to prevent, flash mobs coming in and robbing all of the retailers and running the people out and it being a lot more violent inside of y'all community. He never answers the question. He's just as bad, if not worse, than Kamala Harris.
This week in Alameda County have been at least 5 different smash and grabs. I mean, what do we do to continue preventing those in addition to the retail theft ones that you've been touting?
Rewind the tape. That's why we're here. That's the partnership that we're committing to continue to advance. It's the change the voters spoke loudly of as it relates to the 2 recalls in the region. Our commitments remain as it relates to supporting those complex cases in the Alameda County DA's office. We want to continue those partnerships with the state's Department of Justice. We want to continue to support supplementing the efforts here, but in return, we need to see subsequent reforms here in Oakland that specifically address your issue. And as it relates to the smash and grabs, again, outside the purview of Prop 36, important that this is part of the conversation for the public. Those are included specifically as it relates to the package of bills that the legislature advanced and I signed in August of this year, the vast majority of which go into effect on January 1st in the new year.
Given that you prosed it?
I think that's fabulous. By the way, they'll have many more tools with the 12 bills that the state passed that are much broader, nuanced, and more inclusive than the one or two specific components.
I think the most compelling thing about this whole video is a sign language person. I don't know what's wrong with me. Something is wrong with me. Something is wrong with me. I'm focusing more on a sign language person, like I can read sign language to try to figure out whether or not the person is actually signing correctly than I am on this gaslighting that Gavin Newsom is doing when it comes to criminals in California.
It relates to retail theft.
And now y'all not going to be able to unsee it.
Prop 36. Again, Prop 36 tended to differentiate itself from the work the legislature already had done. In this regard, it has much more to do with nonviolent drug possession, up to 3 years felony and state mandatory prison sentences.
Can't unsee him, can y'all?
If drug treatment on demand is not successfully provided. The challenge is it locks in a requirement, but it locks out money because at the same time it cuts drug treatment money for local government. That's a conundrum for local municipalities, and one that I'm very concerned about and will continue to remain concerned about. And therein lies my concern and opposition to that initiative, not on the retail theft side. Quite the contrary. We went back to 2021 when we established this new task force and framework. Hundreds of millions of dollars have invested in this space and a much more comprehensive approach to addressing these issues in those package of bills. So I applaud any effort to address the issue.
I think that in order to be a politician, you got to be a master in gaslighting, a master in communication, a master. Y'all don't give these people enough credit. The ability to sidestep a question and then to talk about a whole bunch of details and technicalities that have nothing to do with the question directly on is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. He was also asked about, and this is the one that y'all really want to get to, and this is the question that I would ask him. If I could ask y'all need to come up with a bunch of questions that ask y'all legislators that's in y'all respective states that y'all would ask. And y'all should ask those questions. And the question that I would ask is about the $24 billion. Where did it go with this whole homelessness crisis? But a reporter asked him about the 2/3 of the U.S. homeless population being in California. Check it out.
And switching topics, the HUD's point-in-time count came out today showing the highest recorded population of homelessness nationwide. Looks like about 2/3 of our population here in California is unhoused. How do you respond to that, given your support for grants passed?
I haven't had a chance to review the details, but I do understand this important detail that you saw nationwide increase. It was one of the most substantial we've seen in decades. I think 18.13%, 3.13% here in the state of California. We've seen a significant decline in the growth in the state of California.
And I want to point something out to y'all. Listen, this is a master class in gaslighting. If you're not paying attention, right? If you're not focusing 100% on what he's talking about, you could be fooled too. I want you to listen, and we got to listen carefully. And this is why communication is an art, both from the person that's communicating and from the listener's perspective. I'm going to rewind it 10 seconds, and then I want y'all to tell me what y'all hear.
Decades, I think 18.13%, 3.13% here in the state of California. We've seen a significant decline in the growth in the state of California. And
we've seen a significant decline in the growth. That means that it doesn't mean that the homelessness population is not increasing. It means that they've slowed the rate by which people are becoming homeless. They didn't fix the problem of the people that was already homeless. It's just more people becoming homeless at a slower rate than they were before. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a masterclass in word salad. He didn't say we're having a 3.3% decline in homelessness. He's saying that we have a slower growth rate in the amount of people that are basically going broke, not having a house, and then pissing on the side of the road and living in their cars. You get it? It's like inflation, right? If somebody says to you, hey man, y'all had 10% of inflation when it was in 2022 during the Trump and Kamala Harris administration. And then they say, wait, no. We had a 5% slowdown in growth and inflation, and now it's only at 5%. That means that inflation is still too high, and they didn't lower what you are already suffering from. You just have more inflation at a slower rate. So you still can't afford to do whatever it is you're going to do. Shout out to my dog, Classy Beats. I appreciate you. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. You still can't afford to live in a house. It just becomes less affordable slower. You get it? If the homelessness population is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million, let's say the homeless population is 10 million people. It didn't mean that the homeless population went down to 9 million people. It means that it went up to 10.5 million during your administration during this time where you threw $24 billion at the problem. Let's continue.
Unsheltered side, I think it was statistically flat at 0.45%. So progress, as well as on the sheltered side.
Progress.
Up 8.9%. That is a very good statistic.
Listen to what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying.
I think it was statistically flat at 0.45%. So progress, as well as on the sheltered side, up 8.9%. That is a very good statistic as it relates to the work we're doing to get people sheltered and to get people the support that they deserve. 40 states saw larger increases than California. We're making progress, but we have to continue to do more. And that progress, again, in the spirit that brings me back to Oakland, is realized locally. States provided unprecedented support, flexibility. Local government has to deliver. Here in Oakland, across the state, hundreds of cities, time to step up, address the issue of encampments, address the issue of tents.
When they talk, they do like this and they do like this. It is a classic thing that is taught from two politicians. Obama mastered it. Kamala Harris tried to use it. It didn't work for her. Gavin Newsom, he does it. They do like this, they do like this, and then they do like this. Like they do like this, they do like this, and then they do like this. That is a classic technique of distracting you and using their hands in order to gaslight you away from the question that you ultimately ask. Politicians do like this on a regular basis when they talk. I do it. I've trained myself to do it when I talk a lot of times when I'm debating with people. I did it a lot on Hardly Initiated. I did it a lot. I do it a lot on when I was, debating with certain other people. I don't want to say no names and all of that stuff, but it is a classic technique. When you do like this and you do it effectively and you know how to gather and gain the insight of the people while at the same time trying to, change the conversation into what you want to be and angle it differently, it is an effective tool in communication.
Address what's happening on
Look
the
at his
streets and
hands.
sidewalks. It's about quality of life. It's about public safety. The people of the state have spoken loudly. They want to see results. No more rhetoric, no more press conferences. They want to see results.
Sir, you did not answer for the 2/3 of the homeless population in the United States of America living in California. And that's how you get them not to pay attention to the fact that you didn't answer the question.